Hey guys, this is DFS Chan on November 20th. I'm here to talk about today's EPL soccer slate preview. We have a loaded slate today. We have, as you can see on the screen, 10 o'clock Eastern time matchups that are on the slate. As you guys know, probably that we haven't had soccer for a while because all these players were on their international team duty. As you probably saw, like the USA team played against Mexico, some other countries in North America, to qualify for the main World Cup tournament that's going to happen next year. So all these players are back now to their respective clubs. And so, it's the first week back. So, there are a lot of like injury and like a load management, so to speak, issues for these players who had heavy minutes in their international matches. So they're just now coming back from those international duties and here, so I could talk a little bit about whether that means these players that I think will finish 90 minutes, play the whole game, or they'll get subbed out early, or maybe they won't even start because of all the games that they played in. So let's dive in, and I'll share my favorite GPP matchups to target and play teams to target at the end based on the stats that I find useful. So the first matchup of the day, on the slate rather, is Aston Villa versus Brighton Hove Albion, BHA. Here I'll go here. As you can see, Aston Villa is a slight favorite against BHA, but very slight favorite, pretty even matchup. The total goals over and under is set at under 2.5 goals. So, it's not the best game to target. So projected maybe 1-1 or 2-0 either team. So 2 goals to go around for each team, both teams rather. So Aston Villa is a slight favorite, so I'll talk about them first and my favorite plays. If you guys have been playing Aston Villa, Emiliano Buendia, he has the highest floor on that team, and John McGinn they both have the highest floors on that team, I think. Buendia has been taking some set pieces, and so has McGinn. So they have been sharing some, but depending on where they're placed on the formation, if this is true, I like Buendia much better because he's on more on the attacking side. So I like Buendia as probably the highest floor guy for Aston Villa if the formation stays like this. And then obviously Matty Cash and Matt Target, both fullbacks, left and right, they like to cross the ball. So they are decent plays, I think, but they just have a tough matchup against BHA because BHA is pretty good on defense. They are tough on defense, so I think they're going to have to sit back a little bit and knock the ball around a little more than usual. I don't really like Aston Villa pieces here that much unless it's for GPP purposes. If you think this, they can score more than 2 goals. But if that's the case, then obviously you will need to have a share of either Watkins or Danny Ings, because most likely that either of these guys will score. More likely than Buendia, in my opinion, because Buendia is more of a chance creator, a playmaker, than Ings and Watkins. So I think Ings and Watkins, it's more likely if you think Aston Villa will score 2+ goals, I think one of them will be at the end of that goals. On the other side of the matchup, BHA, Brighton and Hove Albion. One interesting, this squad, BHA squad, it will be interesting to monitor formation-wise and starter-wise. So their best player, Pascal Gross, is most likely out again. That also means more usage for Solly March and Leandro Trossard. Both guys take set pieces if they are both on the field. More likely Solly March. Solly March has been taking set pieces a lot more without Pascal Gross, but there is a chance that Solly March might not play. then obviously the usage is huge, gotta be huge for Trossard. Trossard will take set pieces and he's on penalty duties as long as Neil Maupay is out. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to monitor because like any of these guys it can be out based on the fact that they, played in international duties and injury situation. So we'll see. I'll share my thoughts once the starting 11 comes out. But as of now, if this is the formation, if this is the starting lineup, then I think it's just gonna eat up into each other's production. Like Solly March, probably my favorite because he'll be on set pieces. But Trossard would make a good GPP play. And then another favorite GPP play that I am interested in is Tariq Lamptey. He's finally back in shape. He played 90 minutes, I believe, in the last game. That was a while ago, but still. So, I mean, that means he's in shape still. So I like Lamptey if he's playing up top like this. He plays a lot of fullback position, but sometimes they put him out there at the, on the offensive side. So it'll be interesting to monitor. Like I said, BHA, it's wide open, but I think that also makes sense for a very interesting GPP play, in my opinion. Veltman, Cucurella, they're good GPP options, I think. I mean, they have somewhat of a floor because they're fullbacks and like to cross the ball, but if they have March, Trossard, and Lamptey up here, I just do not see them cross more than 4 or 5 times each. So it kind of limits their upside. Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is a slight favorite, but they're on the road. Burnley is the home team. Total goals over/under is under 2.5. So that is not a good matchup to target either. I believe this is actually, after I looked at all the matchups earlier, this is the matchup that has the lowest total goals over/under. So statistically, this is not the matchup you want to target because you want to target the matchups that have a lot of goal upside and potential. So for what it's worth, a lot of people will probably shy away from this matchup that obviously also provides good leverage if you think these teams are capable of scoring a lot of goals, which I think I can buy into that because Burnley is one of those few teams that gives up a lot of fantasy points. So let's dive into it. Crystal Palace, like I said, they're playing against Burnley. Burnley gives up a lot of points. Conor Gallagher is probably the best play for Crystal Palace that you want to target. Highest floor, and he also provides a lot of points in open play, crossing, shooting the ball, chances created. He does everything for that team. I like him much more if Luka does not play. So we'll have to monitor his presence on the starting lineup. And then for GPP plays, I love any of these top 3 players here: Zaha, Benteke, or Edouard. Zaha is probably the best one out of those 3 because he creates a lot of chances. He's more dynamic than these players. Benteke and Edouard, you're really just playing for their goals. Edouard has a little bit more floor than Benteke, but still, I like Zaha the best. Joel Ward and Tyreek Mitchell, I don't think I will go there. Burnley side, Chris Wood. If you think they'll score, Chris Wood is more likely than any other player on that team to score, I think. Obviously, McNeil is the highest floor guy for Burnley. He likes to cross the ball. He likes to create chances for that team. They like to play it open, which creates a lot of chances for themselves, but also for the other team. But yeah, if you think this will be an open matchup, I think McNeil is a good play. I think he's a little overpriced in my opinion on DraftKings based on the matchup against Crystal Palace, but I can see why some people would play him. And then everybody else, I feel like it's just like a GPP play. Charlie Taylor, Matthew Loughton, I'm not gonna go there. A Goodmanson, maybe. Brownhill, maybe, for like the GPP plays for a chance they might score or get an assist. But I just feel like in this matchup, a tough matchup against Crystal Palace, I think I'm gonna fade all Burnley players except for maybe McNeil. All right. And let's go to the next matchup. of the day, which I like. Newcastle versus Brentford. Newcastle slight favorite, very even break, even matchup. Total goals over under is over actually 2.5. So I think it's a good get matchup to target. So let's dive into the slight favorite in Newcastle. Obviously, ASM. Well, first of all, let's talk about cash plays, high floor. So first of all, Newcastle got a new coach, I think, new manager. So we'll see how that translates into maybe another player starting potentially. Like Ryan Fraser had not been starting under the old coach, but the new coach really likes Ryan Fraser. I think they used to play or coach together, so there's a good chance that Ryan Fraser might play. So if he plays, I think he's probably the best value play. I think for his price tag in this on this slate. So that will be a very interesting one to monitor. Highest floor guy on Newcastle is Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie takes a lot of set pieces. He likes to cross the ball in an open field, open play. So I like Matt Ritchie if you think Newcastle will do well, which I think they'll do well too. I think this is going to be a good matchup to target. And then ASM for GPP, and then Almiron and John Joe Shelby and Callum Wilson, all good GPP plays right here. So I think any of them can score, but ASM obviously is the playmaker. He likes to create chances for any of these guys, but those are all GPP plays still, I think. And Fraser, yeah, like I said, I think the best value play if he ends up starting. There is a chance that he might get subbed out early, but we'll see how his fitness is. Brentford side, this will be very interesting because Newcastle gives up a lot of peripheral fantasy points. They give up a lot of crosses. They give up a lot of chances created. So I think on Brentford's side, it'll be interesting to see who starts. Matthias Jensen takes a lot of set pieces. And then Sergi Canos, he had an amazing game last time out for Brentford. So I think on the side and the fact he's, playing fullback position if he's playing like this in this spot on the formation, and then he's going up against a good matchup to smash spot against Newcastle. So I like Canos a lot. It's probably one of my favorite defender plays on the slate. So that'll be interesting. And then if you think Brentford will do really well, which I think they will, I mean, they'll be in a position a lot of the times throughout the game to score a lot of points and goals. So I really don't mind Tony or Mbeumo as a pivot. Tony definitely is their alpha striker, but Mbeumo also creates a lot of chances and can score as well as a good pivot to save some salary. So I think these top two strikers will be very interesting, and we'll go under-owned, I think, on the slate. Norwich City versus Southampton. Southampton is a big favorite at plus 105 to win outright. Norwich is a big underdog at plus 260 to win outright. The total goals over under is 2.5, over 2.5. So I think this is also a good matchup to target. And that also stems from the fact that Norwich, just like Newcastle that we just talked about, Norwich gives up a lot of points, fantasy points and peripheral points. So Southampton, even though they're playing on the road, I think they're in a good spot to smash as well. But Southampton does not really like to, let's say, like they play disciplined football. They're not as like productive and counterplays, counterattacks than like Brentford is. So it kind of limits their goal upside still. But at the same time, it's a good matchup against Norwich, so that I think it's a good idea to target some of these players on Southampton. So obviously, JWP, James Ward-Prowse, probably the best floor play on the slate. He always scores double digits, more than 10 points. So I don't know if you can fade him in cash, because if he starts and then if he ends up he is going up against Norwich City, which it's a good matchup for him. So JWP, he will be on set pieces, and he does a lot in open play, creates a lot of chances and shoots quite a bit. So I like JWP here for optimal lineup. And then for GPP, I mean, you can play any of these two strikers if you think they'll score. Like, I like Che Adams better than Armstrong, but Armstrong obviously gives a salary relief. And then Stuart Armstrong is also, good enough to get on the end of an assist or a goal. But my favorite GPP play here is Mohamed El Yunusi. He has been pretty good since he came over to EPL. He has been really good for Southampton. So I like him as like a good GPP play, sneaky GPP play, in my opinion, on the slate. Livramento, Kyle Walker-Peters. I don't really like Walker-Peters because he's limited. He has limited upside crossing the ball. But Livramento will be an interesting pick too, I think, for GPP purposes, if you think they'll cross the ball quite a bit. Norwich, like I said, gives up a lot of fantasy points, so I can definitely see a scenario where Livramento goes up and down and cross the ball and maybe gets on the end of an assist to Che Adams or El Yunusi. Next matchup is Watford versus Man U. Manchester United is the biggest favorite to win outright on the slate. So they are the biggest favorite on the slate to win. This actually has the highest total goals over under as well, as it is at -150 for over 2.5 goals. So let's dive into Man U with waste no time. Cristiano Ronaldo has the best, highest scoring odds on the slate. So, I think you should probably have at least one lineup with Ronaldo in it. Highest scoring odd and the highest total goals over expected matchup. So, and Bruno Fernandes obviously has the highest floor on Manchester United's team, but he's not on penalties anymore because Ronaldo will be taking them if there is penalty ever involved. But Fernandes will take most set pieces along with Luke Shaw. So Ronaldo, Bruno, Luke Shaw are probably the three highest, place to target. And then everybody else is really a GPP play. McTominay actually has been playing well. He's been taking decent amount of shots, but still GPP play. Wan-Bissaka has been crossing the ball a little more this season compared to last season. So, I think he's a good GPP play as well. But Watford actually, Watford actually has been giving up a lot of fantasy points as well. So I think Man U is at a good spot, but, they've been struggling lately, as you can see, draw, loss, win, loss, last 5 matchups. So I don't know how they're going to fare after a long international break, like I said. So we'll see how they fare, but, I'm definitely not going to have any of them, I think, in cash lineup. It's just too risky, I think. So we'll see. But Watford, and they're too expensive, obviously. Watford is an interesting team. I don't know if they will survive the relegation here. I think this is a tough matchup for them to go up against Man U. Man U will dominate possession. Watford, if I had to choose their best plays, I think Sarr is probably the best play in my opinion, because he's their playmaker. Really, other than him though, I don't really like anybody else. Maybe Dennis, but that's it. So I don't know if I will play any Watford players, but they will probably the lowest owned players on the slate. So it'll be interesting if Watford can upset Man U and score 1 or 2, but I just don't see them score 3 or 4. So I think it's GPP purposes, it just limits their upside. The last matchup of the day is Wolverhampton versus West Ham. West Ham is a slight favorite on the road at +138. And Wolves are a slight underdog at +210. So pretty even matchup overall. But it's actually a terrible matchup in terms of the match goals projected, under 2.5 goals. So I think it's going to be a defensive matchup, even though I think West Ham tends to play pretty well in the open play. Creates a lot of goal scoring chances. So let's dive in. West Ham, Jared Bowen is obviously the highest floor guy on that team, and Zed Panorama and Fornals and Antonio. All these guys are really good GPP plays. like I said, they like to create a lot of chances. They like to play as a team. They like to attack a lot. Soucek and Rice. Soucek and Rice. They both like to shoot now. So, all of these guys, this is a really good team to target, I think. It's just Wolverhampton plays a lot good defense. They've been struggling a lot. Let me look at their match history. They gave up 2 goals, 1 goal, 1 goal, 2 goals, 1 goal. And West Ham has been scoring a lot of goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals. So I like West Ham as a sneaky GPP play, even though the total goals over under, it says under 2.5. So I think this will be an interesting spot to target West Ham pieces because I think people will look at the odds and kind of shy away from it. But just coming off of a break, all these guys are healthy now. If they all start, I like Bowen as a high floor guy, but obviously Antonio and Ben Rama, they've been in good form. So I like them a lot. And then Cresswell and Ben Johnson. Cresswell has been sharing set pieces with Bowen, and his open play upside is limited this season compared to last season. So I don't know if I'll target him, but there's definitely a chance that he can, get an assist. On the Wolverhampton side, on the other side of the matchup, Aït-Nouri and Semedo, but Aït-Nouri has been taking some set pieces, so I like Aït-Nouri a lot. And then I think really that's the only cash play that I'm interested in, maybe Moutinho, but he just does not have any upside in the open play, in my opinion. So I like Aït-Nouri on the side as a wing back, and then GPP plays Raul Jimenez and Hee-chan Hwang. These are good, probably good bets to score for Wolves if you think the Wolves will score 1 or 2 goals at least. So yeah, that's really the gist of the slate. Let's look at what I have here on my notes. Teams to target for GPP purposes I like is Manchester United, Southampton, and Brentford and Crystal Palace. All because based on the fact that these teams have given up a lot of crosses, most chances, most shots on goal, and then most shots. So as you can see, these teams, Norwich, Watford, Burnley, and Newcastle, are all of these bottom 4 teams in terms of, the play, given, points conceded and scoring chances conceded. And these are the respective teams that are playing against these terrible teams that I just mentioned. So Man U, Southampton, Brentford, and Crystal Palace. And I have them listed and based on the total goal odds. So like I said, Man U, the Manchester United versus Watford game, Manchester United is a big favorite, and the total goals over, it's over 2.5 at -150. So I think for GPP purposes, it's going to be the matchup to target, and so will a lot of people. So I don't know. I think the ownership will be very high on that, on Man U players, even though they're kind of expensive. Southampton, Southampton. But one thing to note is that all these 4 teams that I just mentioned, the teams to target, they're all playing on the road against these terrible teams. So kind of limits their upside, I think, a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, Southampton, Brentford, and Crystal Palace. That Crystal Palace matchup has the lowest total goals over under, but still, I think I'm still gonna, maybe be on that Crystal Palace train with Conor Gallagher and Zaha. So anyway, so that's all I got for you guys today. Good luck. But I'll share some thoughts and I'll have some comments on the starters when they come out, when they get released at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So in about 20 minutes or so. So I'll share some thoughts, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys can, like the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you can. But yeah, appreciate you watching, and good luck everybody. And hopefully, one of you guys wins it. Thank you.